Welcome back, everybody, to another member spotlight. Joining me today is the new, or let's say newly BDM of Boileau Business Technology. His name is Nick Scheid. Hello, Nick. Welcome to the show.
Brum, how you going? Nick Scheid, sorry to correct you there, but
Nick Scheid. Okay, well, let's go with that.
thank you.
It's good to see you. How are you going?
I'm very well, thanks. Doing well.
And the weekend is just around the corner, so that should be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
You obviously are now in a business development manager role. Previously, you came from a very different background. Very quickly, tell us, let's say, what you formerly did. Also, touch a little bit on the things that you do in your personal time, specifically with the martial arts.
So I finished school in 2017, and I wasn't really sure what I was doing after that. Tried a couple of uni courses, didn't really stick with me, so I decided to get my hands dirty and do a couple of different trades. Did concrete, and also did concrete grinding and spraying as well. So there's a bit of hard work there. And then I decided I want to enjoy my time outside of work and not just lie on the couch, absolutely knackered. So that made way for me enjoying my personal life more. And I feel like it's given me a better opportunity to grow in an area that I had never tried before. So the family business was a great opportunity to join and give me a platform to try my hand in sales. And it was awesome to then meet you, Brum, before that. So what I was making way for was my martial arts training. So I like to do Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm hoping in the new year to tie it all together and start doing some MMA as well. I've had a passion for mixed martial arts for about 5 or 6 years, since probably Conor McGregor. A lot of people jumped on around that period. I saw him, and then following on from that, I saw all the other superstars in amongst it, and always thought, well, what if I have a go at it? If I think it's so cool, and it's been a great journey, helped me with a lot of my resilience and problem-solving skills. As if I'm going to my morning jiu-jitsu, that's probably the hardest task I'll face in the day, getting my way out of a really uncomfortable position and trying to make the most out of finding space in tricky situations.
Yeah, great stuff. Sounds to me that you're going to be ready for a bit of couch surfing again afterwards.
Yeah.
That's full on. That's full on contact sport.
Yeah, it's very confronting at the start. It takes about 3 months for you to sort of get into an understanding of what's happening and what people are doing to you. Because at the start, you're just like freaking out. You're like, well, I know not everyone, but for me, I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
So very personal, but eventually you sort of realize, okay, I can get out of this situation and pose my own threats in a sense. And I do Muay Thai as well, which is a similar martial art in the sense that it's very confronting in certain situations where you're striking. But yeah, it's cool to have those two and find a balance between them.
Good on you, mate. And you definitely touched on a very important point, that things like martial arts, if you then take that back into a business environment, it really definitely brings something like resilience and being able to hang in there, which obviously in sales and business development is important. Tell us a little bit more about, how you started off in the family business called Boileau Business Technology. You started off in a sales role, which was more like inbound, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was, internal sales, where I was looking after print consumables. Printing was Boileau's first sort of cornerstone, or whatever you want to call it, the first pillar that they started off with. My grandma started the business 34 years ago with her husband, Michael. And print was their first avenue. I started in print consumables. And a lot of it was just calling some pre-existing customers, some non-existing customers. And it just really gave me an opportunity to figure out how to handle a conversation that's got a bit of tension to it, in a sense, bringing someone up and offering them a service, and they might not necessarily want your toners. So they're like, no, mate, see you later. So that helped me build a fair bit of confidence there, which then tied into when I did my communication course with you, Brum. That really helped me identify a blueprint of, okay, maybe it's not just me, or maybe it's these people too, and how can I communicate with them on a different level to suit their needs, as opposed to just running through your own script and just hoping for the best. So
That's
really
a
helped in
good
that.
point, because yeah, it's true. Like very often people in a call center, especially when you make outbound calls, meaning people are not expecting your call. Sometimes they think like, well, who are you? You know, or there might not be a relationship on a personal level. It's not easy then to have kind of cut through or get through to people and make them give your time, let alone buy something over the phone and exchange with their credit card details or whatever it might be. So I like what you just said there, because very often people use one script and basically just kind of regurgitate the same thing over and over and over again. And it's just a numbers game. You went in differently. Tell us a little bit more like what you've done differently as a result of the work that you and I have done, and also some of the coaching you've done with Andrea.
Definitely. Yeah, Andrea helped out a lot. It gave me a lot more understanding and ideas around the call making space. So it was really handy. So, then the challenge I've found now is how to be authentic to yourself while creating a style to suit other people, because then you can go too far one way and just be someone that you're not, and it's hard to uphold that. So it's been a good balance to figure out a style that works for you and the other person, and meeting that middle ground without stepping too far outside of your own bounds, and whatever you feel is aligned to who you are.
Absolutely. It's important that we're real. And yeah, it is a fine balance sometimes when we use obviously disc. Anytime when we work with people on phones and in sales and business development, we use disc as our foundation for everything. So when you said, when you're calling up on someone and they have a very different style to yours, for example, way more direct, a bit domineering, a bit forceful, a bit intimidating, maybe. We don't expect you to basically try to be that if that's really not you.
Definitely.
But we definitely also know that it's about making sure that people feel that you're not, that you can hold your ground and be resilient, but where they also feel that simultaneously that you want to work with them and that you're there to help them and that you help them win ultimately, right? And so as long as we are able to navigate the waters that way, we can still be ourselves, but also accommodate our style to suit these people so that they feel more comfortable and therefore want to do business with you.
Definitely. It was great to workshop all that with you in the courses and find the styles that work. But yeah, I feel like it's a forever evolving thing, maybe for myself, to keep looking back to those styles and maintaining your own style to suit them.
Absolutely. And you've done very well with that, Nick.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I also did the business development management accelerator with yourself, and that was also really good. We touched on the disc, and then we're able to see how it would further streamline into business and conducting yourself in different ways and executing on different techniques of how to win the business, and not only for yourself but for the customer as well.
That's it. Which brings it back to the authenticity piece, which you're a guy that likes to help people. You're very client focused, and therefore it's great when we can help them. I actually recently picked up somebody who said that sales is about, it's not what you do to people, it's what you do for people. Therefore, you're helping people to get a solution to a problem that right now they're experiencing that you can help them with. So I like that sort of little spin. It came really from a client-centric sort of perspective. But tell us a bit more about this business development journey that you're now on, where you basically are going out of the business. You're not just in the office anymore. You're going out, seeing existing and new people. And one of the reasons that I wanted to bring you in on the show, on the Membership Spotlight, is that I know that you had a few wins on the board recently in that capacity, which I was very excited about hearing. So tell us a bit more like what's been going on in the BDM space, and how did you go about, generating the business?
Okay, so from a year ago, I could barely pick up the phone. Now I'm successfully talking to customers, organizing meetings with suspects and customers, and so next week's fully booked out. Every day I've got, not fully booked out, every day I've got a meeting with a client and suspect, and I've also been able to make a few sales as well and follow up with the customers, and they're happy with the follow-up, and then the follow-up after that if there are any problems to solve. So it's been great. They're my first sales, and I'm very proud to have been able to get some on the board. So it's only getting better, and I'm improving more and got more in the pipeline as each month comes. So been really
Brilliant.
challenging to find a lot of new suspects to talk to. I've been doing a lot of door knocking and cold calling, but whilst maintaining my calls with existing customers. And then when I catch up with those customers, I'll have the sandwich calls around the area to random businesses that are within that I feel might be a good company to be a partner with.
It's beautiful. You mentioned sandwich calls. Can you expand a bit on that?
Yeah, so the sandwich calls are the ones that you make in between your existing meeting. So if I've got a meeting with a client, I can go see them, and then gives me an opportunity to fill in around the time, around the area.
Yep.
If I can create more opportunity to help
Beautiful.
out.
Are you still using your donuts or whatever it was that you're doing?
Yeah, so I tried that, and that was very good. It was I was able to bring in a few suspects that are very interested in some proposals. That was a really cool way of going about it. It was good to help me sort of break the ice, if it not just for myself to find an in. Now it's might not be as necessary to do it every time, but it's like I've still got that confidence from the last time to build on.
Beautiful. Well done. I remember particularly one of your sales that you mentioned that you signed up as in your new role as BDM, that was with somebody who was very firm, very to the point. Time was, he was very time conscious. I want to hear about the story. What was the story like?
Yeah, so the initial call up was there was a bit of miscommunication. An email was sent to the wrong address or something like that. And then the customer realized they were short on toner, but we were waiting for them to sign on the renewal. So it was both a bit interesting. But he ended up calling me and saying, "Hey mate, I need you to find me a solution by the end of the day." I was like, "Yep, no worries, we'll sort it out for you." And long story short, we were able to catch up with him and have a great conversation, and he signed off pretty happily. And he was very direct at the start, but it was good to realize it's not me that he's direct with. He's just busy himself, and he's got a direction he wants to go, and he wants to know if I can help him. And I was able to alleviate the stress in that department and get to a positive solution. And I've followed up with him, and he's happy as Larry. So
great. That was a great example of how we don't need to take personal offense at anything that people say or do to us. Especially this gives us that beautiful sort of template to hold against people so that we can see that that's just the way they act. That's just the way they respond. That's how they communicate. And it's nothing personal. So I think you really beautifully held your ground. You were being of service. You knew exactly like what to say, how to say it in a way that made him feel in control. Therefore, he relaxed. Therefore, he felt better and he was happy to proceed, which well done. Kudos to you, Nick.
Definitely. I know a lot of the time throughout our course, you touched on not being judgmental as well. That helps process a lot. You might say, "Oh, this person's a bit rough," or "This person's a tire kicker," or "This person's not nice," but maybe it's just means there's a different approach available. It's better to observe that, but not judge it, because then it sort of can attach itself to you.
Exactly. I'm glad that you bring that piece in because, yeah, it's so easy for us to judge, especially if people are appearing to be less friendly and engaging or maybe a bit abrupt and the likes. It's good to just take all that sort of what I call self-limiting thoughts out of the equation so that we're more focused of being of service. We sometimes shoot ourselves in the foot if we do judge. I definitely have been there on that journey too. So I'm glad that you brought that back. Obviously, you're still relatively new on the journey of sales and business development, but you've been at least in 2 different roles already so far. What would you say, as if you were to say a message to yourself as you started the journey? Anyone else who is at that same starting point, they're about to go from whatever they were doing now into sales or business development. What sort of message would you give them briefly as a source of inspiration?
Brief one is keep consistent and roll with the punches, because it's not always going to be an enjoyable phone call, but continue on down the path and you'll figure out that not every phone call is going to be great, but it's how you respond to the situation instead of reacting and taking it personally.
I love that. That's great. Like a difference between reactivity, as in I'm comfortable with how they addressed me, or I'm taking offense or any of that. Like rather than doing that, which is just purely reaction, you say you stay in a good headspace. You don't take it personal. You just roll with the punches, and you keep looking at how to add value to people out there. Great.
Yeah. So they say every no is closer to a yes.
That's it.
How it goes. So.
They're all little tools that we got in the toolbox to keep us on track and keep our mind in the game. I'm very pleased that you came on board here today with the member spotlight. Should people want to talk to you and just connect with you, are you happy for us to share your LinkedIn details as well as your website where people can also check out what you guys do at Boileau?
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
Beautiful.
I have the opportunity to speak with as many people that are interested in filming a partnership, or even just a free business health check. We can come in and sort of see your business tech side of things and give you an audit and check in, see how everything's going, and just maybe even compare what you've got now to the other options. So.
Perfect. Well, we'll happily add those details below the video for easy reference. And mate, I really appreciate you coming in. Wish you all the best on the weekend, which is just around the corner. And of course, good luck with all that what was it called again? whatever?
MMA, mixed martial arts.
Yeah. Mixed martial arts, the MMA stuff. Keep your nose straight, all right?
Yeah, we'll try. It's already a bit wobbly, but we'll get it back into shape. Thanks, Brian. Much appreciated. Take care.